Okay, got some shelves put up on the wall. Gonna leave a gap there between the shelves. They do go all the way across up toward the top, but as we get down here toward the bottom, as you can see, I've got a few of my chargers there for the Ryobi and the Porter cable, and I'm trying to see how the tools fit on the shelf. And I'm going to put my charging station in between those shelves, so that's the build I'm going to do today. Let me pause the camera and go get some things together, and we'll get started on that build. Well, I got my wood all cut. I'm sure you guys know how to cut wood, but this is going to be my front panel. This is going to be my top of the front panel. This is going to be the bottom. So I've got a 2x4 and a 2x6, so that I get a little bit of an angle there. This is the side. This is the angle I'm predicting that I'll have, and I'll cut these two out. Probably get both of them out of one side. And then as far as the electrical goes, I picked up these timer switches. They're from Energy Lights, and you can pick whether you want 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30, 60, 2 hours, or 4 hours, and they automatically will shut themselves off. So I picked up two of those because I'm going to run two separate circuits. So I've got my boxes for those, and I picked those up on eBay, by the way. I don't have the exact address as to where I got them, but they were like 32 bucks a piece, and I just thought it's a nice way of doing it other than the old turn knob. Now each of those will go into the different sides of the outlet. As you can see, the connector that usually joins the two of them together right here, it is missing. I broke it off from both sides. That way each outlet becomes its own independent circuit. And I've got a box coming for that. It's just going to be one of the shallow metal boxes because it's going to be hidden inside anyways. So that's what I've got. I'm going to start laying things out and putting it together, and I'll be back. We'll figure out what's going on from there. Okay, we're over at the bandsaw now. I'm going to go ahead and get that side cut out and see if I can lay out the exact same thing on the opposite side. So, get rid of that. And just see if I can do some freehand cuts here and get this cut out the way I need it. Okay. Alright, safety glasses on, wire it up. Got one. Trace that over onto the other side, and shouldn't have any problem getting two out of that. Sanding, they're pretty close, but they'll match up. Stayed a little bit outside the line, so I made sure I got some room to sand. But now let's see if I can mark off where they need to be cut. Get a straight edge to do that. Okay. Pencil, and that's the top. Cut those off, both of them, and we'll be good to go. Okay, and me and my tall sled, right? There, now I can transfer that onto this one. And we're good to go there. Alright, so I've got my two side pieces. Now I've got to put the angle on the 2x4 on the top and the angle on the 2x6 on the bottom. And we'll be ready to start assembling, cutting some holes for the outlet boxes and all that fun stuff. Okay, we're back to recording. Make sure we're seeing everything there. Yep, I think we're good. What I did was, after I had these cut, I went ahead and grabbed the 2x4 that's going to be on top and lined it up and put a mark where I need to cut the 2x4 off. Okay, and I did the same thing with the bottom on the 2x6. Lined it up again, marked it, and now what I did was I tilted the fence and just kept my eye on where I wanted that cut. There it is. And got the saw lined up with that. Okay, so it's matches the angle there. And I do want to use my miter gauge though, because this is a long cut, and would prefer to have something help me keeping it straight. Okay, so let me back it up just a hair. There's one down. And there's two. Sand them up a little bit. Get ready to do some assembly. And I'll be recording again shortly. Okay, time to start getting some things put together here. So, I've got my outlets. Got my boxes for those. I need to cut a hole for those. Grab my parts that we just made. The only one we didn't miter was the faceplate. I might have to just kind of jump over the bandsaw, do the same thing. Just take a little bit off the top, a little bit off the bottom there, and just to give it the same angle, keep it looking good, you know. So let me get that done, lay out some lines for the boxes as to where they're going to go. Get the saber saw, or jigsaw, old school, sorry. Get the jigsaw out and cut those openings, and then we'll start assembling and get some wiring done. Alright, I'm going to start a little bit of assembly. I was going to draw the boxes on there and cut that out with saber saw or jigsaw, but realized that I want to make sure that with that angle of the front that box isn't interfering with anything when I do the assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble the two sides and the bottom and the top, and that way I'll know whether or not I've got any interference, and make it a little bit easier to put things together. So grab my drill, my countersink bit, chunk of 2x4 just so that I know I'm not drilling into the wrong spot. You know, into this nice new table I put on. You notice I put a red resin paper down. Just want to protect that table for as long as I can. The original tables that come with the Craftsman radial arm saws, they kind of suck. They're particle board. They swell. They get bumpy. You know, probably from people putting drinks on them. I picked this one up secondhand, and it had a bunch of bumps. So I put a new one on, 3/4 inch plywood and some hardboard on top of it, and it's working pretty good. Okay, on this side. Okay. Right piece here. Everything lines up. Looks good. Square that way. And square that way. With a little optical illusion with all those angles, you know, just making sure what's white. Alright, Titebond 2, my favorite glue. And I tried the 3. You know, it does give you a little more time, but usually I don't need any extra time, at least not on the projects I've been doing, so haven't had to tear one apart again yet, so I guess that has something to say for it, right? As soon as I have to tear one apart, I'll say, oh God, I wish I was using that Titebond 3, but it's out there. I'm real happy with their glue. They do a good job on it. It never had a problem with it not holding. My old Rockler glue brush out here. Need a little more glue on there. You don't have any squeeze out, and you didn't put enough on, is what I keep being told, but I think that's just people trying to sell you more glue. I don't know. But then again, that's why I have the resin paper down there. I want to make sure that if I do have some squeeze out, that it won't be affecting my my table here. So put that on there. Line up all the edges. Looking really good. Grab a couple of screws. And reverse my chuck. I guess that would help, huh? And here we go. Maybe that magnet kind of gets in the way sometimes. Okay, one side down. Take care of the other side now. Brush it off. You know, last thing you want to do is put a bunch of sawdust in between them. And Boring, huh? It's like watching paint dry. You can do that later if you'd like. Nah, I'll spare you that one. Even I won't stand around and watch that. Okay, the other side on. Everything lined up nice and square. Flush edges. Give the screw a little twist this time, maybe it'll not pick up. Oh yeah, you gotta love the squeeze out. That's what we like. No squeeze out, not enough glue. So, got those two. Now, go ahead and put the top piece in there. Get that screwed together, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Let's see. We'll start with that side. Actually, I guess we'll start with both sides because it's all going in at the same time, isn't it? Okay, well, we got the holes cut into the front panel. Sanded it down a little bit. Yeah, just keep it clean. Boxes are mounted. Everything should be good there. Next thing we need to do is go ahead and put our timers in. Those are going to go straight through as far as wiring, because between these on the back is going to be the junction box that will send power to each of those timers, as well as send power to the outlets for the power cords. So we'll have that set up. Now obviously it'll have its own pigtail power line so that we can plug it in to provide the power. So I'm going to go ahead and do some wiring, and if you're not sure on doing wiring, please don't attempt it. Get yourself a licensed electrician and let them help you with it. There's no sense getting involved in something that you don't know about and then having a problem. Just to keep you up to date with what I've got going on here, I've got both of the timer switches mounted into their boxes. I'm going to get up on my shelf here and grab another one of the black surround plates. I just think it looks a little better than staying with white. All the wires are coming out of the back. I've got my metal box there that we're going to go ahead and put some connectors inside of that. We've got some plugs to put on the side so that the wires aren't on the edge of the metal. So we got some pass-throughs, and we'll get power to that and power up to the rest of it. So we'll get it done today. All right, well, welcome back. Let me zoom out a little bit here so we can see everything. I did finish up the control box, if you will. Like I said, I was going to do my wiring and then come back. So I don't usually share my my electrical wiring online because I know what I'm doing. I feel comfortable with it, but I'm not a licensed electrician. So am I going to share that with someone else who's not a licensed electrician? No, it just, in my opinion, just not a good idea. So if you're not comfortable wiring things up like this, then I'd recommend you find yourself a licensed electrician. As you can see, we got both boxes mounted. Underneath here is the metal box with the slides on the sides of it for the wiring to go in. I went ahead and mounted two Phillips power strips on top. I took them apart first and looked to see where I could drill into them so that they could be mounted securely. I was originally going to put them up on the wall, and I thought, you know, that's just taking up a lot of space that I really need for the chargers themselves, so left those there. I was trying to figure out what to do with the cords. And this one here, this one was fine. It would just plug right in as normal, but then this one was an angled plug. And if I plugged it into the bottom socket, I couldn't put this on up top. And if I couldn't put this one up top because there wasn't space for it. So I was going to put a new end on it, and I thought, wait a minute, if I'm going to put a new end on it, why don't I just do both of them? So I shortened up the cables. Now they just come off the top, Got 2 outlets wired onto them. They just plug straight in. Got everything secured with some wire staples. Have my power line ready to go. Made it long enough that I can plug it in anywhere in case I do decide to move this later. But once I do get it situated, the outlet's only right here. So the majority of this is just going to stay inside of the box. And be pretty easy to take care of everything from there. So might even just kind of run that behind that. That way it will help keep them in there. So let's set this in place. That way you get to see the front of it as to what I finished on that. And it was designed for the space. It's pretty tight. Built a little shelf for it. Okay, so now that sits back in there. Bring my power plug up here. Plug it in. Okay, you see them flash. Now the thing that I like about these plugs is there's 2 different settings on them. You can just, have something plugged in and tell them, well, I want 5 minutes. It'll light up for a second, then it goes out. Well, is it on? Is it charging? You might be able to see it on your chargers. Sometimes the chargers are hard to see unless you get on top of them. So what you can do, let me stop that one, is hold down the 5 and 10 until everything blinks. You let go of it. I'll do it over here on this one as well. Okay, now if I want to set it for a 30-minute charge, it lights up and it stays lit for the full 30 minutes. So it just gives me a comfort zone of knowing that yes, it is still charging, or I'll know when my 30 minutes are up, or whatever time I give it, and it'll let me know if I want to give it some more time, or what else I might want to do. I have my 2 chargers for my Porter cable 20-volt system. I'm going to get those mounted up there. They're going to be on probably the first channel. And then on the second channel, I've got my Ryobi chargers, the IntelliPort, and I've also got a small Ryobi 1/4-inch drill driver charger that I'm going to put up there as well. Now, all of these will mount on the wall very easily. They've got the catches on the back, so I just need to measure those out and decide where to put them. And I'll get those mounted up into this space. They should fit up there without any problem. I'm going to store all of my tools on the side here so I can adjust these shelves up as needed. Trying to keep everything off the countertop. And that's my charging station. I'll get these all mounted up. I'll come back. I'll let you see how they went up. And again, all the cords are just they're gonna be behind this. So everything should look nice and neat and put together. So let's stop the time on that one. Okay, real simple. And I'll get this done. Hope you all enjoyed the build on the power station, or charging station control unit, whatever you want to call it. I've got my P labeler in the house. I'm going to make up some labels as to what it is, and make sure that one of them is going to be labeled Ryobi, the other one Porter cable. That way I know whatever charger I put in, which button I need to press. So y'all take care. Hope you're enjoying the channel. And again, if you've got any suggestions, comments, or anything I can help you with, please give a post down at the bottom, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. Take care. Alright, well, I got everything plugged in and mounted up on the wall. Got both of my Ryobi chargers up there. Got both of my Porter cable chargers up there. Everything's down, plugged in. Threw a battery into the Ryobi just to get that big battery charged and get it going. You can look down here and let's see. Is there a light on? Yes, there is. Look at that. There's a 60-minute light lit right there, the blue light. That lets me know which power supply is being charged. And as I said, I'll get names underneath these. Obviously, the Porter cable will be the one on the left, and the Ryobi will be the one on the right. I do have that one other charger that I mentioned. I've got that small 1/4-inch drive screw gun, if you will, a little tiny one from Ryobi, the Tech 4. And that's just going to sit there on the shelf. I'm probably going to put a piece of Velcro underneath it just to make sure that it can't move around. But I'm real happy with everything. Everything mounted up. The Ryobi batteries click in and have to be unlocked. You have to squeeze them to get them out, so no problem with those falling out. And I got the Porter cable ones set because they are a gravity feed, and both of those are set so that they'll work properly. And I think everything's good to go. So I want to thank you for joining us, and come back and see us again. Remember, go ahead, like the channel. We'll catch y'all later. Bye.